the current media climate, noise travels faster than judgment. A clip goes viral, a headline spreads, and opinions form before most people have even seen the film. Yet precisely because the internet accelerates reaction, genuine word of mouth has become more valuable than ever. It is the difference between curiosity and conviction. For serious, drama-driven projects, word of mouth does not simply reflect enjoyment. It reflects trust. It tells future viewers, this is worth your time, which is the rarest endorsement in a distracted world. That is why audiences watch carefully when they sense that a film's reputation is forming organically, scene by scene, rather than being pushed by sheer volume. Word of mouth also creates stability. Box office is a sprint. Reputation is distance running. A film can survive a modest opening if viewers keep recommending it, discussing it, and defending its quality with specifics rather than slogans. For an actor like Xiao Zhan, this matters enormously. When people say the performance is solid even if they debate other aspects of the project, it protects the one asset that must endure: credibility. In the long run, reputations are built on what people keep saying after the trend ends. This moment did not unfold under studio lights, nor was it framed by a director's cue. It happened quietly, almost invisibly, in a cinema where no one expected anything extraordinary. Xiao Zhan's parents were simply there, sitting among ordinary viewers, watching their son's work on screen, listening as he spoke in interviews, and hearing others praise him. What made this scene powerful was precisely its lack of performance. There was no intention to move an audience, no carefully crafted narrative. And yet, it felt more real than any scripted scene Xiao Zhan has ever played. In that space, he was not an actor, not a public figure, but a son whose journey had reached a point of visibility. In an industry obsessed with spectacle, this quiet presence felt almost out of place, and that is why it mattered. It reminded viewers that behind every polished image lies a private life, one that rarely enters the public eye. This scene belonged to reality, not cinema, and that distinction made it unforgettable. What separated this moment from countless celebrity appearances was its emotional honesty. There was no sense of promotion, no visible agenda. Instead, the focus shifted away from Xiao Zhan himself and towards those who had watched his journey from the very beginning. For years, audiences have followed his career through roles, interviews, and headlines. But this moment offered something rarer, a glimpse of time passing. It showed the distance between where he began and where he now stands, not through achievements but through presence. Parents witnessing their child being recognized publicly marks a quiet turning point. It is the moment when effort becomes visible, when worry softens into reassurance. Viewers recognized this instantly because it mirrors experiences in their own lives. This was not about fame reaching its peak. It was about struggle finding its meaning. That emotional shift is what made the moment feel different and deeply personal. Pride does not always announce itself. Often, it appears in restraint, in a smile held back, in attentive silence, in simply showing up. That is what gave this moment its emotional weight. Xiao Zhan's parents did not speak, but their presence spoke for them. Sitting there, listening to their son being praised, they represented a form of recognition that cannot be replicated by awards or numbers. It was validation without noise. For many viewers, this was the most relatable element. Silent pride is something widely understood yet rarely shown. It belongs to ordinary lives, not red carpets. Seeing it associated with a public figure bridged the gap between celebrity and everyday experience. In that silence, audiences felt something genuine, the kind of pride that does not need to be proven, only felt. And that quiet emotional clarity stayed with them long after the moment ended. This moment redefined what success looks like. It was not measured by box office figures, trending topics, or public applause. Instead, success appeared as a sense of calm, the kind that comes when long years of effort finally make sense. Xiao Zhan's journey has not been effortless. Like many artists, he has faced scrutiny, pressure, and uncertainty. This scene did not erase those struggles. It gave them context. It showed that perseverance, even when unseen, eventually leads somewhere meaningful. Success here was not about being admired by millions, but about being understood by the few who matter most. That distinction resonated strongly with viewers who may never step onto a stage but understand the value of quiet achievement. It reminded audiences that some milestones are not meant to be celebrated loudly. They are meant to be witnessed and remembered. Audiences could not look away because this was the kind of moment that bypasses fandom and goes straight to something human. It did not rely on spectacle, controversy, or carefully staged glamour. Instead, it offered a rare emotional clarity. A parent's quiet presence, a son's work on the screen, and the unmistakable feeling that years of effort had finally reached a point where it could be seen and understood. In the digital age, attention is usually won through extremes. Stories are often framed to shock, provoke, or divide. But this moment worked in the opposite direction. It was gentle, unguarded, and almost ordinary, and that ordinariness made it powerful. People stayed because it did not demand a reaction. It invited recognition. Viewers saw something they know from their own lives. The way parents show love not by announcing it, but by turning up, sitting through the whole thing, and listening with an attention that feels like a blessing. There is also a deeper layer. For many, the hardest part of chasing any dream is the period when nobody is certain it will work. When the family support is quiet, anxious, and full of unanswered questions. Watching Xiao Zhan's parents witness public praise for their son symbolized the end of that long uncertainty. It felt like a private victory made visible not for the internet, but for the people who once worried behind closed doors. That is why audiences could not look away. They were not watching a celebrity being celebrated. They were watching a life being validated, and for a brief moment, it made success feel less like a headline and more like something that finally comes home. Beyond fame, what this moment revealed was the simplest truth that audiences often forget. Xiao Zhan is not only a public figure shaped by roles, schedules, and headlines. He is also a son, carrying an ordinary human longing beneath an extraordinary career, the longing to be understood, to be supported, and, quietly, to make his family feel safe about the life he has chosen. Celebrity culture tends to flatten people into symbols. An actor becomes a brand, a face in posters, a name in trending charts. But when his parents appear in the audience, the image shifts. The distance between star and person collapses. Suddenly, the story is not about status or popularity. It is about the long, invisible years that came before recognition. The private discipline, the uncertainty, and the steady pressure of having your life watched and judged by strangers. Seeing his parents present does not add drama. It adds gravity. It suggests a life that still has roots, a success that did not erase where he came from. For viewers, this matters because it restores proportion. The industry may reward performance, but family witnesses character. A parent's pride is not earned through glamour. It is earned through consistency, resilience, and the ability to stay grounded when the world insists you become something else. This is why the moment feels so human. It hints at the emotional cost of public life without needing to spell it out. It reminds us that behind a polished interview answer is a person who has learned to hold himself together under scrutiny. And behind every applause is a quieter room where it is not the crowd that matters most, but the faces that knew you before anyone else did. In that sense, Xiao Zhan's humanity is not separate from his fame. It is what makes his fame worth watching.